Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. Well, have I got an exciting project for you today? It's my Thrifty Thursday card for this week. I've taken 5 pieces of white card, just random pieces of white card from my scrap box, however big you've got them, however small. I'll show you them all when we get into the video. And by cutting them out and inking them in a particular way, I've been able to create this beautiful card. Isn't this gorgeous? We all love a wreath, and I haven't got very many wreath dies, so why not make them yourself? I took the dies from lots of different collections, all sorts, added the ink, added that gorgeous butterfly, added a sentiment, and away we go. What do you think of that? I think it's beautiful, and I'm going to show you now how it's made. So I decided to make this my next Thrifty Thursday card because what I've got here is this is all from my scrap box. I've got a larger piece of card, and then I've got 5 little scraps of white card. So these are all bits cut away from previous projects and makes, but I'm going to take these and I'm going to make a really beautiful card with them. So I thought it's thrifty in so much as it's just literally offcuts of white. I'm going to use one piece of blue and one piece of gold that I've had mats and layers. I often think don't count the mats and layers because we will do mats and layers, but for the main bulk of the card, this is all it's going to take. So move those out of the way, and this is my first piece. So I've got a background die. You can use anything. If you haven't got something like this, then how about using some trellis or an embossing folder? So this is going to do very similar to an embossing folder. So I'm just going to take this. Oh, by the way, it's got cutting edge around the outside, and then those aren't cutting edges, so it's just going to add detail. But like I say, if you haven't got this, get an embossing folder. It would work equally as well. So let's get my plate. Gosh, my plates are tired, aren't they? Cutting plate, plastic plate, plastic shim, magnetic shim, top cutting plate. So we can put that through. I love this background one. It really is a useful one to have. So once we've got to there, if we turn this over, you can see now, I like that it's almost misfired. If you look at that, you can see it's not quite cut those hearts out. Now you can either have them poke them all out, and I've done that on previous ones where I've gone round and I've poked them all, or you can have it so that they stay in. So I'm just going to use the release hole. And you can see I can take that out, or one's come out there, but it's not a problem. You can always just put it back and put it back in. And there, that one. And then you just pop them straight back in like that. Just back in the hole. There we are. Where did that one go? There it is. And I can put that one back in the hole like that. Now once you glue them all down, then they will all stick down, but a lot of them miss. So yeah, so a really useful die to have. Like I say, you could do this just some embossing, however you wanted to. Then the next thing I've done is I've got my dies, and I'm just going to take a circle die, the whatever size you like the look of, and I'm going to just pop this onto here. Now this is rectangular. I purposely did it rectangular. Part of me was because I know a lot of my lovely American subscribers say that they have to pay extra to do post square cards. So I thought I'll try and make sure we do a few more that are rectangular. And all I've done is I've just done myself a rough guide on there. So I think actually what we might do is we might put the card base together. So I've already done a few little bits while I was just waiting to come on. And all I've done is it's a handmade card base. This started off at a 7-inch envelope, just so because I've been asked a few times. So I've ended up at 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. There you go. So that is, so you get a perspective of how big the card is. So onto there I've done a mat of gold and a mat of blue. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our one that we've just done, and I've got another white layer. So this is just regular multi-purpose card. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop this. Now I can feel this starting to bend a little bit, so actually I might do a couple of layers of red liner, just because it's starting to pull a little bit. So the glue if you've got lots of time, you can put your glue layers on, and then you can hold it, you know, weight it down with weights. You know, I use a stamping block with maybe a big thing of glue on the top, or whatever you wanted to. But if you want to be nice and quick, like I'm doing there, that's my Sticks 2 red liner. And somebody said to me, how do you not struggle to get your red liner backing off? Now, that's been burnished and that one hasn't. Can you see that's a lot darker and that's a lot paler? If I just run my finger up there, that becomes darker. And so long as you burnish it down, it comes off. If you don't burnish it down, it can be really, really difficult to peel off. So once I've got that on the outside edges, and then I'm just going to put wet glue in the middle. I know I wanted that so grab, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit over there, because once I press it down, it'll catch on the red liner. So all I'm going to do is put one on to the other, and now I'm going to press. It'll get the weight of the stick of the red liner, and that'll stick. There you go. That's not curling up at all anymore. Just need to make sure that's done. And that's my card. So you can see slightly bigger at the top than at the bottom, because the heart's that way around. And all I've got on here, again, my Sticks 2 1.6mm foam tape, which is perfect. So put it nicely all over. Nice sort of zigzag, so it's got lots of you know, strength and support. It won't sag in any places. It'll just act as a lovely holding on there. So then I've got my card base, so we can pop this on to here. There we are. Now you'll notice I like 1/8 of an inch borders going up. Just works for me. Now doesn't that look lovely? Really, really pleased with how that looked. The little bit of gold, little bit of blue, and then the 2 white layers with the detail. If you don't want detail on the front, you could just do 2 white layers. Okay, so I'm going to put my card base. So as I said, what I often do, I can put that on like that, and then a big bottle of glue on the top. I'm going to move that out of the way so it's not distracting. But that is how I weight down my layers. So now it's back to all of these bits, and so we need to really cut out all the bits. So I've been through my stash and I've found three main foliage dies, and then this little one as well. This one was from my signature collection. So all I want to do with these is I want to put these on to some white card, just like this, however you want to do. So like I say, we're using up all the scraps here, so just use up all of those scraps just there, and that bit goes through there. So I just need to take those down so that they don't move, because it's not like I've got a big sheet of card. I've just got little bits, so I don't want them to. Let's see if that will. Oh gosh, there you go. It's loads of room when you turn it around. It's really weird, isn't it? Sometimes if you just turn them around, they fit so much better. Well, it's not weird, but it's just surprising sometimes. So put those on. Right, so back to my grotty plates. So we can put those ones on first, and then those ones on next. So I'm going to use the full combination of plates on there. So I've got all my plates in there, and I'm going to run that through. Now this will need a double run through the die cutting machine. So that's one run through, and you'll notice I purposely put my plastic shim next to it, because I sometimes find if you put your magnetic shim, it will pull the dies away. So I'm just going to take this one off and leave that on. It's also quite handy to take off the tape. Let's see if I can just do this. I'm going to take them, keep that. I want the card to stay in the die. But it doesn't matter if it comes off the, see, that's cut. Now, if you look on the back here, there's no detail on there. And again, if you look on here, I've got a little bit, but not a lot of detail. So I'm going to pop them back down. But I'm going to pop them down on top of a rubber embossing mat. My rubber embossing mat is very sorry for itself, but it does the job. It's not a problem. So we can put those on there. Now, I take out my magnetic shim this time, and I just do it with plastic shim and plastic cutting plate, and put those through. And what that's done is it's pushed, that plastic shim has pushed the cardstock into the die. Now can you see now, look, can you see the detail? It has embossed it as well as cut it. If you don't emboss it, you just get flat. Now look at that, look at all that detail. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I'll get the same with this one. They're all different sets of these. It's not like I've used one set. That's how I love to craft. You look at this. Not only is it cut down the middle, but it's also added that embossed detail. If you didn't want that embossed detail, then don't, you know, just cut it. You don't need to emboss it at all. But I do like the detail. This one just adds a little bit of extra dimension to it. There we go. Now the other one wasn't a cut and emboss die. It was just a cutting die, this one. So that's why I didn't put that one back through, because it actually doesn't add anything to it if you do that. So I'm just going to pop that one out. Now these ones I'm not going to do anything to. I like the white of these. I thought it would add as a nice contrast. So I'm going to take that out. Look at that. You see why I drew that when I made these dies. They just absolutely love those. So we can take those from there. Now I need to get my little sheet. Now, you need to cut a few of those. When I was getting this ready, I think I did 4 or 5, but you can do however many works for you. So I'm going to put that on there. I don't need to do anything with that one, so I'm going to do it with these ones. There we go. Right, let's do this one first. So I'm going to get a yellow ink on this one, whichever one you want. I've just got one of my hybrid inks, but you can use what you want. Nice blending brush. I've just ordered myself a sticky mat for doing things like this that holds your die cuts in place while you ink them. I'll let you know how I get on with that. There's always new tools coming out that we all want to try. Now I'm actually inking up the whole lot, but when I started to plot this project out, I found that this actually is a bit too big, so I will be trimming this down. So the next one I want to do is this one, and I love this. I'm going to get 2 blues. So both of them are reactive ink pads, and I've got my waterfall and I've got my sea glass. So I'm going to get my sea glass first, and I'm going to put my sea glass all over. If you prefer daubers to do this, or those big handheld brushes, you can. Now the alternative to doing this is if you've got lots of coloured scraps of card in your scrap box, then how about cutting them straight out, and then you don't need to ink them. But I just love, you know, transforming that white and seeing where I've gone. So I've got my blue, first blue, and then I'm going to get my second blue, and I'm just going to come up there a little bit, just to add a bit of detail. And I don't want to, just like to sort of add that texture in by just, you know, doing the 2 colours. Just think it looks really nice rather than having it all solid one colour, which you wouldn't get if you cut it out of a piece of card. So there's my blue, just like that. And I'm going to do this one in green, and I'm going to do very similar to what I did with the blue. I've got Spring Buds and Awakening Forest, but you can do, oh no, that's Spring Buds, that's Awakening Forest. There you go. When I'm prepping, I put the lids on the wrong way round. That would have been silly, wouldn't it? So Spring Buds, I'm going to go all over first. That's my palest one. And can you see, I love how you get a different look with the embossed bits. Remember, the ink that's on your mat will also pick back up and can be reused. Even though I know I'm going to cut it down, I'm still colouring the bottom bit because I might be able to use them. I haven't actually put this card together yet, so I don't know how it's going to look, but my thought process is I might use them for a bit of extra oomph and dimension. So we've got the Spring Awakening, then I'm going to get Spring Buds, then I'm going to get Awakening Forest, do a bit like I did with the blue, but it works really, really well. Doesn't it? Look at that. Don't those 2 colours? Now that's gone a little bit heavy there, so you can just blend it in. Just remember, all of these are going to be sort of weaved into each other, so don't worry too much about blending, because people are only going to see little bits. There we go. Doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? I love that. I love just colouring it in. So what I want to do next, how quick is this to put together? I'm going to trim this one to here, just give myself a little bit of stalk, and then on this one I'm just going to neaten it up and just take that bit off. With the blue, very, very simple. We're going to trim down to there. So we've got this piece. So you can either leave it like that, or we might be able to trim that into that. So I've got those pieces so far. And then with the yellow, I'm just going to take it down 4 pieces and to there. Chances are I'm not likely to be using that, but we'll see. So that's what I've got. And I've got that a few times over. So I've got a few of the greens just there, and the green bits there. I've got plenty of the blue. There we go. You can see what I've been sat doing, can't you? But I really do enjoy it, actually. I find it really, really rewarding just to add in. And remember, any of these bits that don't get used will all go into my bit box for another time. So blue, oh, I've not got all my yellows. I've got all these little extra bits of yellows. Like I say, I'm struggling to see how they would be used, but you never know. You never know. They might do. So do that. And then I've got all of the white ones that I've not done anything with. So there we go. Oh, I have got another couple of bits that jumped off. Right. So that's what I've got. So you can see. Don't those colours look really nice? Okay, let's have a look at how that card base is doing under there. Now look at that. That's holding really, really firm. So I can pop that down here so you can all see that. And what I thought I'd do, I've got my hot glue gun ready, but for now I thought I would start with 3D glue. And I'm just going to go round on here with my 3D glue. I'm pretty certain I'm going to need more glue, but I'm just going to put this one on here just to start me off, just to start to make it that little bit tacky. Now 3D glue is exactly what it says. You can see on there, because a lot of people have asked me about 3D glue. You can go on there. Now my preferred one is Pin Flare, but I don't actually have an unopened. I need to get in touch with Christine and get some more Pin Flare, because I'm out. So once that's gone, it's gone. I'm stuffed. Right, so I'm going to just start putting these on. Now they're straight, but I'm going to try. I'm not sure with this whether I want that. I'll just put these on like that. Okay, what I might do then, I might just then do a bit of blue. Just like that. And a bit of yellow. Just following the shape of that round. And then another bit of green. Wasn't sure whether I'd need to trim this one off, but it's working all right, isn't it? And then let's go with that one on the blue. All I'm trying to make sure is that you can't see the ends of the last one, because I don't like seeing ends. So we can then just do that one. So when I tried to map this out, it was really hard to do because there was no adhesive on, but as soon as I put that little bit of adhesive, it's holding really, really well, much better than I feared. So we can do this one. Now remember, when you're making a card, you can come off the side, you can come off the top, but you must never come off the bottom. I know I say it all the time. If it comes off the bottom, your card won't stand up. So that's just something to remember. Let's go with this one because it's not quite as, just do. Now, I'm sure lots of you have got Wreath dies. They are really, really useful, but sometimes we don't. So, you know, this creates... All right, look at this. Isn't this absolutely beautiful? Oh, the dog wants to come in. Sorry about the noise. I've just had to let Elsie in, otherwise she's going to be scratching at the door. You never get... Do you find that if anybody of you that got dogs, you don't get 2 minutes? They insist on following you around. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. She's absolutely adorable. But I thought I'll shut the craft room door so that if my hubby's downstairs making a noise, we don't hear. But no, the dog needs to come in. Now, I think I've gone a little bit tight there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 5th lot in. And then, because I haven't got another full set. Right, so if I look at that, I'm light there and heavy here. So what I'm going to, this is a great thing about 3D glue, is you've got wiggle room, wriggle time. So I can move them around, plenty of time to move them. So I can pull that, separate those down a little bit. so it's not quite as bunched up. I think I thought I could hear the dog and I wasn't paying enough attention. Still a little bit looser on that side. I've got plenty of little offcuts. We can go in with those in a minute. I didn't think this glue was going to work as well as it did. That's why I've put my hot glue gun on, just in case I needed it, but I don't think I'm going to. All you have to remember is 3D glue takes about 24 hours to cure. It'll be touch dry in about half an hour. Things won't start falling off in about half an hour, but to be properly dry, you need to give it 24 hours. But, you know, what I tend to do is make the cards and then leave them. So it's just worth thinking about that. If you're thinking, oh, I need to make a card to take to the party we're going to in half an hour, or, oh my goodness me, I have to post the card today, or it's not going to reach the recipient on time. That's absolutely fine, but don't use 3D glue if that's the case, because it won't dry in time. Okay, so there we go. Are we a bit more even? And does it look quite wreath-like? It does, doesn't it? A couple of these just need... So this is where I wanted to be able to use my hot glue. So once I've got it there, I want to just tuck a couple of these in. I just want to make it a bit rounder. There we go. So, and again, the lovely thing about this is this glue will let me do this. What I can do now is I can trim into here. I've got a little bit of a gap there. I know it's a blue one, but I can put a little bit more blue in there. I can always get a little bit more green. It doesn't have to be identical all the way around, and it will look better for having extra little bits in places. So we can then just put another little bit just there. Right, I need a little bit of glue to hold that. Making sure the end's covered up. I've got a gap there. What do I need just there? What do I need? Now the yellows aren't going to work, so it's going to have to be green. So let's just trim that down. Let's put a little bit of wet glue on. And then, there we go. Right. I might just put another little bit of green just here. There we go. Absolutely gorgeous. So the only other thing I want to do is, untangle. I want to bring some of these round a little bit. My glue stick's falling out. So we can just put a little tiny bit behind there and then capture just like that. I don't want to glue down too many leaves because I want the fluidity as if it's still moving, but some might need a little bit of persuasion of where to sit. There we go. Okay, I think that should just about do it. And then what I want to do is I want to get some of these white ones. I'm going to just pop a little bit of 3D glue on there, and I'm just going to poke them in. And again, this is a great thing about using 3D glue, is I've got time to move them around. Now, you might not, I'd be very surprised if anybody else has got exactly the same dies as I've got. That doesn't matter. Just use whatever you've got. Doesn't this lift it totally just by putting this white in? This white just really, really breaks it up, doesn't it? Looks lovely. Coming out from underneath really, really works. So let's go. Where's the last one going to go? I think I'm only going to get 4 of these in because we don't want it to overpower. Let's put that one. There we go. How about that? Isn't that gorgeous? Now, this wreath would actually go on a much, much bigger card if we wanted to. Okay, so you can see why I've done the blue, because it's picking up a blue, but I've done a gold. And the reason I've done a gold is because I wanted to put a butterfly on. And I was struggling to find a butterfly die that wasn't huge. So I found this one. I really don't know where it's from, what it's from. It was in a folder. It was in my basic shapes folder because I have them all labelled. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shape. Push out those stray little strands. There we go. And then all I could do here is come down with a little bit of glue just around there. And I can pop that, oh, get rid of those bits, pop that just on there. And then the final little bit I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself a pair of tweezers. I found one of my pre-printed sentiments, Time to Celebrate. Again, 3D glue really works for this, but you could easily do this with foam pads. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to pop it across there. Now, you know me, I'm sitting here thinking, pearl drops, pearls or not to pearl. I'm not going to pearl. I am not going to pearl. I'm just going to leave it like that because remember when we started, this was 5 scraps of white paper, of white card, and look at what we've created. All bits from my scrap box, apart from the gold. Now the butterfly could come out of the matte layer, the blue you could pick whatever you know you've got in your scrap box. That's part of why I picked these colours, because I found this piece of blue in my scrap box and I thought all of these colours work really, really well. I think that is fantastic. That is so pretty, isn't it? Really, look at the dimension. Really gorgeous. Now that just needs to sit to cure, and tomorrow that will be good to go and I can send that off to whoever that wants to go to. Not that I've got anyone to send it to yet, but there we are. So there you are. Thank you for watching that, and hope you enjoyed that. I do like doing my thrifty cards on a Thursday. It just makes me happy just to be able to do those. So thank you for watching, and I will be back very soon with another project. So until next time, please don't forget to click on the links down below. I will click to a link to another playlist or another video that I think is a really good one on the left, and on the right I will link to my subscribe button. So that would be brilliant if you could subscribe, and thank you to everybody that has recently subscribed. So until next time, my crafty friends, you take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.